Hey, did you know we're also on Spotify? You can listen to No Offsides on Spotify while you're busting out reps in the gym, driving to your next tournament, mowing the lawn to gain brownie points with your wife because you're always gone at tournaments, or while you're getting in some much needed shooting and stick handling practice. So if you're into multitasking, make sure to follow us on Spotify, where you can listen to all of our awesome content on the Spotify app. And legend has it that we almost get as many listeners as Joe Rogan. They even say that Joe Rogan himself has begun listening to the No Offsides podcast since recently falling in love with the beautiful game of roller hockey, and he'll even soon have us on as guests, which is pretty cool. So be like Joe Rogan and listen to the No Offsides podcast on Spotify. What's up, Rink Rats? It's Woody. I'm here to tell you that this week's episode is brought to you by Champion Hockey. If you're looking for quality wheels, sticks, bags, and apparel, then look no further. Champion Hockey has everything you need to look and play like a champion. Check out top-of-the-line Legacy Series sticks and wheels and upgrade your game without breaking the bank. Go to champion.hockey to purchase your gear now, and make sure to check out Champion on Instagram at Champion Hockey to stay updated with products and events. Champion Hockey. Look like a champion.
No offside. Welcome back for our double header this week. This is No Offsides, where we like to talk roller hockey. Sponsored by Champion Hockey. I'm Dan Dean. Yeah, we do love dogs. So I'm Dan Dean, my partner Justin Wood here, and we got a legend in the house right now. We have President of PIHA, CJ Yoder. How you doing, CJ?
I'm doing well, except for my dogs. I apologize, and I'm only a legend in my own mind, but we'll take it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that, but I mean, the thumbnail that was sent to us to use for you is an oldie but a goodie. So,
yeah,
is your old what was it, the Mudcats?
Okay, yeah,
Is
a long time ago.
Yeah,
it's been a bit. It's been a bit.
So, I mean, we talked about it a little bit. You know, it mentioned it. You got like, I mean, PIHA is kind of buzzing right now. You got a lot going on. You got some playoffs going on to see who kind of makes finals, right?
Yeah, that's right. This weekend. We start tomorrow. A couple regular season games are finalized tonight, but and then playoffs start tomorrow night, and we're excited for this weekend. It'll be a long weekend, and then obviously, whoever in the pro division, whoever wins, is going to move in onto the finals next weekend. So, there's a lot that needs to be decided this weekend. So, it'll be busy. This weekend's busy, starting tomorrow, and then obviously next weekend's our big one. So,
yeah, and PIHA finals is in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, at Xfinity Arena. It's a facility that I run at this point. We'll host a couple divisions here tomorrow and Sunday, and then the pro final for Rocky Mountain Division here is actually in Parker, which is about 45 minutes an hour from here. But and then the finals, all of the finals are back at the arena next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
All right, and if you love this show, then you will also love the College Roller Foundation. The College Roller Foundation is a volunteer-run, tax-exempt 501c3 nonprofit organization that exists solely to raise and distribute funds to deserving college roller hockey student athletes in the form of scholarships. The College Roller Foundation isn't a tournament series, league, championship, governing body, or sanctioning agency, but rather works with partners to host events to raise and distribute all those dollar bills to roller players who also like to get their academia on. By raising money through donations and divvying out these scholarships to the players, the College Roller Foundation seeks to grow the game of roller in college. And if you're interested in finding more info, helping out, or donating, please visit www.collegerollerfoundation.com and make sure to follow them on Instagram at College Roller Foundation. College Roller Foundation, growing the roller game one scholarship at a time. It's time to join a revolution in roller with US Roller Cup, a premier roller hockey tournament series. The US Roller Cup is led by a passion for the sport. US Roller Cup is driven to create an unparalleled experience for players, fans, and coaches alike. With a focus on promoting roller hockey at all levels from youth to professional, we are committed to growing the game and fostering a sense of community within the roller hockey world. To find out more information, find tournaments near you, or to sign up for an upcoming tournament, go to www.usrollercup.com and be sure to follow USRC on Instagram at US Roller Cup. US Roller Cup, a revolution in roller.
So I kind of want to, we'll come back to like matchups and stuff in each division, but I kind of want to talk about like how PIHA was created.
Okay. Well, it's basically my father. My father obviously was the main driving force in it, and myself and my brother in 2002, I believe. Basically, what had happened was Roller Hockey International, the RHI, which was probably the biggest and best, strictly professional roller hockey league ever, went under, decided to shut the doors, and my father and I, and basically my father sat in our little office at Doc's Roller Review, our little roller skating rink in Middletown, Pennsylvania, and it's like, hey, we need a carrot for our roller hockey guys, our inline hockey players. What can we do to try and keep that around? And obviously, we're not even the RHI now, not even close, but been around for a long time. And, in a lot of areas, we try to make it as professional as possible and give those kids something to look up to, something to be like, I want to stay in this sport. And I know I can go to Lindenwood or I can go to a couple different places at college, and I can play at all the big tournaments, but what else can I do? This sport that I love. So that's kind of why, that's how it got started. And that's why it got started.
And that's, it's great because it gives people, it's not just men's or women's rec leagues. It's just a step up from that. It's a higher competitiveness. If anything, I'm sure a lot of these guys, especially like the pro division, love it because it just keeps them going all year.
Yeah. And we enjoy it. Sorry to interrupt. We enjoy it because, you're with a team. I know if you can ask Jay Muro, in Long Island, he's been doing it for years, been a huge supporter of the league and just an all around great dude, obviously. But, he says, I love PIHA but my guys are together, for 4 months, 5 months straight. It's not just we come in for 3 days. You got a couple different guys on your team for that big tournament, and then everybody's gone and away again. So it's nice to have that little bit of team, camaraderie type of deal, which a lot of our sports tournament based. And we kind of break away from that a little bit. So something to hang our hat on. I know here for the Thunder, our place here, we have our own locker room and things of that nature. So we get to sit in there and hang out and keep our stuff and have our own stalls and put a little TV in there. We're trying to make it the best we can for the guys. So we enjoy that. We enjoy that stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I didn't say that's pretty cool because I didn't even know that you all had your own locker room. So that makes things even better.
Yeah, we're close. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that definitely makes it awesome.
Yeah, for sure. A couple adult beverages in there after a practice or a game and hang out with the boys a little bit. So and we become a team. We've been together now since September. So this weekend's a big weekend for us personally, and all the other teams too. The teams will be playing, and it's team or a little more team oriented. So.
And so when did because as long as I've known about PIHA, I've known about it more on the northeastern side of it. Mm-hmm. When did the Colorado division come to be?
I moved out here in 2005 to basically help run the facility I'm at now and coach some travel programs. They had 14 teams here at that time. So that's really why I moved out here. And then the owner of the place, we kind of sat down and talked, and we brought it out in 2006. I think it was 2006. We've been here since then. So, and we started with 6 teams all playing out of the same facility. And then a couple facilities grew out here, and then we ventured out to Denver, Fort Collins, and that's kind of how it all came together. But we started with 6 teams. All the games were at one facility here in Colorado Springs, and we've been going ever since. Growing a little bit back a year or two, and then we've been growing now lately again here. So it's been really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I had a short stint in PIHA. I was more of like a filler player. I was in college, and it's probably like 10, 12 years ago or so. And I mean, it was pretty big then. And then I think at some one point, I think roller hockey in general took a dip in numbers.
Mhm.
And so, now we're seeing you have, so in the Northeast, you have three, like, what do you have? Pro, semi-pro, and minor.
That's right.
And so, I mean, you have like, besides pro and the other divisions, you have in the Northeast, you have three separate conferences. Is it?
Three divisions. Yeah.
Three divisions,
So they're
yeah.
all kind of in the Eastern we actually, eventually, as we keep growing, we're going to go into regions. So they would all be in the Eastern region. And then we try to do a central region, which we're trying to get into for next year, like a Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, and then we have our Rocky Mountain division, and then we'll have our, hopefully, a Pacific division eventually too, talking in Northern California and Southern California, things like that. So, yeah, those are all divisions within our Eastern region at this point. But yeah, we have the pro, I think there's 3 semi-pro divisions in the region. And then we have the 2 minor divisions, the one up there and one down south there. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm curious because you mentioned the one down south, which is the Dixie division.
Mm-hmm.
And so, curious how that came to be. Like, how did that all come to be? Because I know you're talking expansion right now. But what does it take to kind of get a new PIHA division together?
Okay. We try to come up with different ideas on how we can do that, because obviously we'd like to expand. We think the demand is there and the players are obviously there. Just going back to your point, I agree. I think there might have been a little dip, a few years ago. But I think it's coming back. I think the sport's coming. I think COVID actually helped that a little bit. I can't tell you how many ice hockey people out here called me, CJ, you got an extra pair of skates. CJ, you got an extra pair of skates, because that's all you could do is go outside, So, so anyway,
Cool.
Yeah, I think we're building a little bit. We've got a lot of 16, 17-year-old kids that grew up on inlines now, and that's all they know, that are old enough to play in the league now. So, back to your question, yeah, expansion wise, the biggest thing is finding somebody passionate about it, that has contacts in an area, that has the time, because it takes time and it takes work to put an organization, or not just an organization, but a whole division together. So it's finding that right person to do that. My father kind of oversees a lot of that. So I think him and Kane got together. He made a trip down there and they sat during a rec league down there. And then they talked and kind of came together and put numbers together and looked at players. And, we're excited about it. We're really excited about it. I'm excited to see those guys come out and compete at the finals next weekend and get to meet some of the guys. And, as a league, we're excited for the future for sure. And we are looking at expansion, but I think it comes down to finding that right guy that's passionate about it, has the time to do it, and the contacts to do it, because it takes help for sure. But we're always looking. So, anybody's listening's interested, give me a call. We're always looking. So.
Yeah, that because it's down near Atlanta, and that's just for like Justin and I. That's a little out of our reach for us to head that way.
Yeah.
So we're and I've been it would have been you and I talked, or someone. I was in contact with someone at PIHA about maybe like we were talking North Carolina, South Carolina kind of division in a way. So hopefully we can get that going in the next few years or so. Hopefully sooner than later, honestly. But that would be pretty sweet.
We would love it. And I know we had a Rolling Robins team in South Carolina. I think it was South Carolina for a little bit, and they played up east. So they would come up and play they'd play it was Richard Kent. I don't know. Richard Kent and RJ was his son. They brought the team up, and they'd come up and play 6 games in a weekend, and then have off for a month and then come up and do it again. And that, that's a good bit of travel to do it, but it's tournament based, per se. We call them a festival or whatever, an expo or whatever. You put a bunch of games together. So the East does that now. So that would be doable, but it would be nice to, even if it's a minor division, like we started at the Dixie division or a semi-pro or whatever it is, just to get things started. We're always looking again. it's got to be the right person, and not just for us, but for everybody involved.
Yeah.
You know, we want to make sure it's a good product for everybody. We don't just throw 4 teams together and see if it works. You know, we want to try and do it right if we're going to do it. So, but we're excited. We're excited for the future.
Well, and the Dixie division is a little different though, too, right? I mean, it's have you ever experimented with a draft division?
That's funny. Probably, yeah. We actually did it in St. Louis, so we had a really, really good division in St. Louis, and I'm sure most of us know that are here that that's a roller hockey hotbed. Always has been, you know. So yeah, I think the very first year we had it out there, I was and it was a pro division, and they had a huge draft, called people up on a stage, things of that nature,
Sweet.
and also that they could draft all those guys onto separate teams. Because if somebody would have just put a team together, I don't think it'd have been a lot of fun for the other 3 or 4 that was in the division. So Dave Garland was the guy's name there, and he did a tremendous job for the league for 2 years out there, 2 or 3 years. And it was a really, really good division. The rinks were on board, and it just kind of fell apart. But yeah, they did a draft. And going back to the very beginning, the Mudcats back then we were not a bad group of guys getting together and playing. And we knew if we just stayed together, it would never work. So my dad actually asked 2 of us to go to 6 different organizations just to start, because we all kind of grew up in South Jersey, Philly, Middletown, Pennsylvania, where I'm from, Harrisburg area. And we all jumped on 2 of us each on different teams. So we didn't do a draft, but we did split up just to get things to work. It's been amazing, the people that have even sacrificed a little bit of, you know, we all would have loved to have played together. We were all boys. We were all traveling in a minivan, 9 of us in a minivan driving to Des Moines, Iowa for nationals or whatever, you know. So I've been there, I've done it, you know, and we'd all love to play together, but they were just great guys that wanted the sport to grow. So we all split and did 2 different, you know, 2 of us on a different team, and just to get this going. And here we are 23 years later. It's been fun.
Yeah. And, you know, and like I said, I know a lot of people that have participated over the years, and it's something that I wish I did more when I was younger. Honestly, it's something I missed out on. Like I said, I had a few games where I was able to sub in, and it was a lot of fun. But I think the schedule was different too when I subbed in.
Okay.
I think the schedule was almost like it was like a weekly thing, like every weekend almost.
Yeah. Where did you play? Where did you play when you played?
I played out of New Jersey. I had a couple games with the NJ Braves.
Okay.
And so I think it wasn't so much like because now it's like once a month, right? Maybe twice
like
a month.
They do like a festival. Yeah. Instead
Yeah.
of handing out medals at the end of the weekend, you just accumulate points.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. And they do that out east. And a lot of that has to do with travel, especially the pro. You know, you got a team in Pittsburgh, you got a team in Long Island, and it takes you, depending on traffic, 7 hours to get over there, 8 hours to get over there. But out here, we're lucky. We've got, you know, we only had 4 pro teams this year, but we're all within an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half. So we play home games. So, you know, and especially I can talk for our Thunder side, you know, we try to average 200, 225 people in the building, and we make it an event. You know, we play kids between games. We have big screens that we put the guys' names up there for starting lineups and their headshots and things like that. So it's kind of going back to our roots from what we envisioned it being when we started, where you have your home games and you pay $5 to get in, and we make it an event. And, you know, so out here we do things like that. Yeah. The East, just with travel and, you know, the way the world is at this point, it's easier to come together, play 3-4 games, and then drive home, and then play 3 weeks later, you know? So
yeah, I think part of the reason that I wasn't able to do it was because it was almost every weekend as well.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it just other obligations, of course, but I can say I do like the new schedule. And because it is, like you said, more travel. It's
friendly,
more travel friendly. Yeah. And accessible. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And a good thing to the sport is there's a lot more going on too. I mean, Midwest wars and East Coast wars and Narch Winter Nationals out East, and, and Ronnie at Tours is doing stuff. And so the demand is there. The sport is growing, and those guys are taking advantage of it also. And we, as a league, want the guys to have the opportunity to do all that and support all of that. So if we've got to go into a weekend where there is nothing, and then you can still go do your Midwest wars in St. Louis if you want to travel there, or your East Coast Winter Nationals for Darren, or whatever it may be. Then it's an opportunity for the players, which is ultimately why we're here, for the sport and for the players. So to be able to do all of it is really good.
I just thought of it in my head. This could be a market for you as well. And from a lot of these smaller market tournaments that Justin and I typically go to, like the Echo tournaments and stuff like that. And, US Roller Cup just started up, had their inaugural tournament. I don't know what you would call the division, but club hockey for roller is actually, it's huge. And I think that's where a lot of these divisions, a lot of these smaller tournaments get a lot of their players.
Right.
And so could be something you look into to where you're like, I don't know if you want to call it like, just for lack of a better word, but like a club division. Right.
Right.
And so, and that you might add more teams in around each area for that too. So just an idea that popped in my head.
No, I love it. And I can tell you, my father brings it up all the time, and we sit and talk every 3 days or 4 days, and he's always got his crazy ideas. Trust me, I could go through numerous ones about how to make the game better or whatnot. I love the guy. But Walt Frazier, who was the head of Tour Hockey, Roller Derby Skate Corporation and Tour Hockey, he's the one that got me involved with Tour, and was a blessing to me, said to my father, like, hey, if you guys get this, come up with a way to get every facility in the United States on board. Like, how do we do that? Like, everybody runs a rec league. Can the rec league September through December in everything somehow be part of PIHA? And just to get involved, and then you move up from there. You have rec league, and now maybe each one of the rinks has a semi-pro team from that rec league. How do we do that? But Walt actually brought that up 18 years ago when we sat and talked with him. He was one of the premier sponsors, in 2002 when we got started. So just ahead of his time, and a tremendous man, and really, really good for me personally. But he kind of came up with the same thing. Like, how do we get more people involved? Even if it is it's a little different somehow with that club division or whatever it may be. So I'd love to talk to you more about that if we could get something going.
Yeah. It's just an idea that popped in my head right now. And I was like, you know what, this could drive more teams for PIHA. I don't know.
100%. I like that a lot. We can definitely talk some more.
But
you're heading it. You're running it.
Yeah, exactly.
Put him commissioner.
Put him in charge.
All right, I'll write my number on a paper, and now I'll let you know my salary.
Okay.
I think it's really cool that you did all this with your father. Do you feel pretty lucky to have been able to connect with him with something like hockey for such a long time?
It's been our life. And he is so passionate about it, and I'm obviously passionate about it. I grew up in a little 60 by 120 roller skating rink playing, we called it Saturday Night Thunder, from 11 p.m. until the goalies quit 2 a.m. And that's what I remember, and he was there, and then to build this, and we got to travel over the world with him coaching Team USA for a couple years. And then obviously the Mudcats for over 20 years, and he's coaching. And then to build this and still be around, and him still be so passionate about it. There are times I got a million things going on at the rink, and one of the managers that's there with me, Colby, will look at me and be like, "Uh-oh, your dad's got his scroll out. He's got something he needs stuff to talk to you about." But he's just so passionate about, and it keeps us so very close. And yes, it's just a great point. It's been tremendous for our family, and now my kids are starting to play, and it's a big vicious circle. But I love it.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3. So I have an older son that's 13 and plays both ice and roller. I got my princess in the middle that's 11, and then Finley is 8 and loves the inline, doesn't even want to do the ice right now. So and my oldest one loves it too. So they're lucky enough to get to run around the arena here, just like I got to run around our little roller skating rink. So we've been very blessed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean when you look around and you don't have you got some rink rats, right? So, and that's great. And that's, when you're at the rink, you don't really notice them, but then you're like, wow, these kids are here all the time.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
and they're watching hockey. They're usually have a stick in their hand, running around, either hitting a ball of tape, So it's awesome.
100%. And I grew up doing it, and they're doing the same thing. And it's great here at the arena in the Springs. It's like a big family. I could be out having to coach 4 games in a row, and I'm on the bench for 2.5 hours, and my 8-year-old can run around that rink, and I know he's safe, and my parents were the same way. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
You said that when you guys would play when you were younger, you would call it the Thunder. What was it?
Yeah, we'd call it Saturday Night Lights. So we would play, because we were a roller skating rink. So my father's, and I always thought they were old. I started at 11, 12, 13 years old. He'd let us come. My mom would let us, myself and my brother, tag along with my dad. And we wouldn't start till after the public skating. So we didn't start till 10:30 at night. And we'd play until 1 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know, a couple of the guys probably sneak out to the parking lot between games and have an adult beverage, but I didn't know that at the time. Yeah. I loved being with my father and being with my brother and being able to play roller hockey. I started on quads. Yes, I'm an old gentleman. I started on quads.
I started on quads too. So
yeah, I didn't want to change. My father got me my first pair of inlines at 12 years old. And I'm like, Dad, I can't stop on these things. I don't want to, thank goodness he made me, but we in a cement concrete building walls, and only 60 by 120, playing from 10:30 at night until 1:30 in the morning, till the goalies quit. And then going home with Dad, I'll never forget it.
That's awesome.
We were very lucky.
So it looks like, you talked about you play for the, Colorado Springs Thunder, right?
Yeah.
And so it looks like you have a what is it, best of 3 coming up in a semifinal?
Yeah. So we had 4 teams out here. 4th didn't make it. So 2 versus 3 on Saturday night at our place. We're 2nd seed. And then whoever wins that is a best of 3 on that night. You could play 3 games. Then whoever wins that has to go on Sunday night, 8 o'clock in Parker, because the Demon Dogs, the team that won it last year, are first seed out here. So then we have to go there. Either us or the Blizzard will have to go up there after Saturday night.
Very cool. Yeah, I was going to say, I remember the Demon Dogs win last year, and so they're in the 1 seed I'm looking at right now. What makes the Demon Dogs so dangerous?
Oh, they're just deep. They got 9, 10 guys that are all not that we don't. I'm not saying that we don't or the Blizzard don't, but they've got some high end guys. Little younger than we are. I know that's hard to believe, right? With the team, but a little younger than we are, and most of them have played at a high level, so they're also very experienced. They're not 18, 19, 20-year-old kids either. They've grown into their own, and they're just so deep. Their goaltending's very good. Kevin Dwyer and John Joy are some of the best in the country. Get to travel and play at the big tournaments also. So they're just really deep. They're very good, and everybody skates well, and they play well together. They came together 3 years ago and have been the cream of the crop out here now for those 3 years for sure.
I'm seeing some Blood and Feathers players on that team.
Yeah, Kyle Phelps played with the Mudcats for a little bit, and then with Connex, he's on there. Jake Townsend played Division I ice hockey and doesn't travel quite as much, I think, just with family being here, but is at that level. He's probably, I think he won playoff MVP last year, and is very, very good. CJ, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
CJ Bateman, all those guys have traveled before and maybe not played at the pro level the entire time, but have been playing platinum or whatever it may be at a Narch and things of that nature. So, and they play well together. They're all up there in Denver and get to play in rec leagues together and things of that nature. So, and then goaltending's huge for them. John, like I said, John Joy and Kevin Dwyer, both very good. So they're solid there also, just up and down. They're really, really good. And even Owen Schaefer on the bench, has been around the sport forever.
Yeah.
Wes's dad, and just a tremendous man, and knows what he's talking about, and they listen to him. So they'll be tough to beat. That's a team to beat for sure.
I mean, you're not doing so bad on this with for your team here. Were you looking at tied for third in points on your team?
No, we're just old. Too old. Look at him. He's just old. But no, I mean, Derek Burnett was one of the best defensemen in the world, for years on Team USA. That was only 2-3 years ago, and he's a staple for us. And a couple other guys that a lot of guys might not know, but are tremendous hockey players. A Parker Harrison and a Cody Ayers shoots from everywhere and scores goals. And then we just added some younger guys, which really helped us from last year. So Christian Perry was just out at West Coast Winter Nationals playing with the Blades, and Skylar out there. So, he's getting his feet wet nationally also and is very good. So, I'm not saying, we've played with them all year long, but they're definitely the team to beat. We have to play well. We have to play well to beat the Blizzard. The Blizzard have some tremendous players on that team too. So it'll be a long weekend this weekend for whoever wins this division. And then we go right into a 7-game series next weekend against obviously the best team in the country, out there, the Long Island guys coming out. So, so it's going to be a long 10, 12 days for whoever it is, but it's exciting. Like I said, it's culminating after 5 months of being together. So we're excited about it.
I mean, and you mentioned the Long Island team, right? I mean, that final was a solid. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than Game 3 to go to overtime, right? I mean,
last year.
No, this year for the
when the Aces, and I watched that one online.
It was the few.
I'm sorry.
The few versus was it the Sting?
Yeah. Anthony Merrigan and those guys. 100%. And I thought they had them. The few had them. I think in Game 1 they beat them, and then lost in overtime in Game 2, and then lost in overtime in Game 3 or whatever. So I was watching that from out here. Yeah, they gave them a run, and this Sting team is as good as it's ever been. You know, so obviously the talent's just getting better out there, and it's going to be tough for the Rocky Mountain Division, I think, each and every year. But we'll step up and do the best we can. So that was a really good series out there out east.
So, I mean, obviously you're going to have the 2 pro teams come out and play a best of 7 series next weekend for the 2 winners. How does it work for the other divisions?
So basically the semi-pro and the minor, they'll play a little like round robin. It's more of a tournament type deal. And then that ends on a Sunday in a 3-game series. So the minors, I think we'll have four divisions out here, 4 teams out here. They'll play everybody once, then they'll do like a semis on Saturday afternoon or Saturday night. And then the top 2 teams go to a 3-game series on Sunday. And then a semi-pro, same thing. I think we have 8. Geez, I don't even know. I think we have 8 total coming out,
right. And
they'll play a round robin, and then again semis, or quarters and semis on Saturday, and then a 3-game series on Sunday. We do like that. It's a little bit of a series,
absolutely.
Especially for the finals. I love our 7-game, our pro. That Friday night you come and you play 1 and 2, Saturday you play 3 and 4. You see what happens on Sunday. So it's like a second season for us, where it's an event. So
it makes it worth it.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Yeah, it makes it worth it, especially for pro. You have much less teams, right? We got to make it worth it for the 2 top teams to come out and play each other. Best of 7 series is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And it's prime time. And the arena the Xfinity Arena here in Colorado Springs is beautiful. We have a bar upstairs, 250 stadium seats with cup holders. We have a suite upstairs that we can take care of some of our sponsors, that they get to sit up there and watch from down there. And the pro guys will have their own locker rooms at our 2 ends. They'll use the Thunder locker room. If we're not in it, one of them will. The league tries to do a good job. We do hang our hat on our finals. We try to do a good job of taking care of the guys, and not just the pros, but the semi-pros, to also, try to feed them every now and then and let them come back and watch the games, and have some beers upstairs and things of that nature. So, we try to make it an event, take care of the guys a little bit. I think Jay Muro's been out here, I don't know, like 15 years in a row or something. I have no idea, but he's been out here a lot, and he always talks it up, and we appreciate it. We do that. We try to make it make it a good event for those guys, like I said.
Now, I mean, I guess the real question is are your games this weekend for pro going to be live streamed anywhere?
I think Joe Oreo was going to try and get on here. Yeah, I think he is coming down tomorrow night to do our games at our place. I think we're just trying to do Facebook Live for this weekend on the PIHA website. I'll have to ask him, but I can get you that information. And then he's also going to go to Parker on Sunday and do those also. So yeah, you will be able to see that. We'll make sure we get that out there and get it on the website.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
and then
definitely get that and we'll share it out.
Yeah, we could.
That'd be awesome. Thank you. Yep.
And then, I mean, I'm assuming, obviously, I would, if you're going to do the mountain division, I would assume that something similar would happen next weekend with the finals.
Yeah. So basically, all of the pro 1 through 7 or however long it goes is going to be done by Roller Planet. It's basically it's a broadcasting company that we have. My boss out here that owns the arena also owns that. So if you do Roller Planet on YouTube, it's going to be on YouTube for free. All the pro games 1 through 7, and then also all day Sunday. So all the minor and semi-pro best of 3s on Sunday will all be on Roller Planet, and all weekend long we will be filming on, again, Facebook Live on the PIHA website. So you get to watch all the round robin or whatever you want. But all the pro games and all day on Sunday is on Roller Planet on YouTube.
Love it.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they do a really good job. They do a really good job. I think everybody liked it last year. So it should be fun.
Now, cool. Yeah, I'm going to kind of go through here because, now that you're on, right? And my brother plays for the Trash Pandas.
Okay.
And so I've been kind of, because I know a bunch of, I play with someone, my brother plays with them. So, just to get underneath my brother, well, my brother really doesn't care, but they usually reach out to us every time I make a comment on them, and I just call them sandbaggers. I love it.
Okay.
And so, but I'm interested to see, because they tore it up, right? And so you have them going up against some other really good teams in that minor division. And I mean, I'm interested because I've played against a lot of the guys that are down in the Dixie division, so I want to see how they compare to the Northeast.
Yeah,
because you know this, the Northeast is a different beast.
100%.
You have Southern Cali, you have the Northeast, and then for a little while you have St. Louis, which is a good hub for hockey, but I still don't think it compares to the Southern Cal and Northeast. And then you had Florida for a little while that was doing pretty well with talent as well. So I'm super interested, especially in that division, of watching some of the guys that I know from Atlanta area to go up against the Northeast and see how they look against them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool to bring everybody together from different regions and see. Yes, you're right. I would say the Northeast, whoever's coming from there are kind of the teams to beat, from pro all the way. And I don't even know, I haven't really been able to watch with us running everything out here, the minor division and things of that nature. But just most of the time when they come out here, they're a little bit better than even what we put off here in the Rocky Mountain division. Although I do think our teams are a little bit better this year. All the way up and down. I think we'll compete a little bit better with whoever makes it in the semi-pro. And one of our minor teams is probably a little better than the other 3. So if they don't make it, that's a big time upset for out here, and they're not bad. But I do think the Northeast is probably, like I said, at all levels will be the teams to beat, and it'll just be cool. And it'll be cool for the Dixie division also, like you said, to see where they're at, and then how do we build, how do we get better, and maybe they surprise you and be like, well, maybe we could play semi-pro next year. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? But
I mean, I think that's their plan too, though, is to play for the Trash Pandas to go and play, move up a division.
They want to move up. Yeah. Good.
I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, you have some of these teams that come in that they don't know where they stand, so it does make sense. I'm looking at who's playing here. You have the Atlanta Fire Ants, the Trash Pandas, and it looks like the Suffolk Sting on the eastern side.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I'm not looking at it, but
no, you're good. And then I'm just looking here for Well, and then I guess what you have playoffs today this weekend to determine who goes next weekend anyway from the Rocky division. So, it's going to be interesting because there are some very strong teams. I mean, whenever you have the Suffolk Sting name on something, right, you're like, that's usually a team to beat.
For sure, 100%. And I mean, there was probably a couple, and we're trying to be better about that out east where, that's semi-pro. If you're good enough to play pro, and as a league, we're looking at this. How do we get more teams to play pro and not be afraid of playing the Sting? I mean, I went out there 3 years ago, I think, and I jumped on with one of our semi-pro teams because we're hurting for guys, and I'm not that big of a difference at all. So I jumped out there and we got shellacked by like a Gladiators, a Marple Gladiators team. And I'm like, that team could have beat 3 of our 4 pro teams out in the Rocky Mountain division. Maybe not our top team, but so that it's just deeper. There's just more guys playing. Like you said, it's a hotbed. You go Long Island, all in the Northeast there. There's just people that are passionate about it and they love it and they compete. And, so anytime they come out to the finals, they're normally are the guys to beat for sure at all levels.
Yeah. And I mean, you have the Suffolk Sting just littered through all these divisions too. I mean, even in the semi-pro division, right? Yeah. And even the Deuces are no team to walk over. And then you also have the Marple Gladiators, the Elite Goofers, which is a very strong team as well. So, besides pro, I'm looking at the semi-pro division and I'm like, Sunday in Nationals, that's in that playoffs. That's one of the divisions to watch right there.
That best of 3 a lot of times is, especially at the end of the weekend, that the pro guys are beating up on the same team all week long. And obviously it's the pro, so people want to watch it, but that semi-pro, they ratchet it up on Sunday for sure when they get there, and I think the last 2 years, it's been the Eastern teams just meet each other again. So they've already seen each other once or twice, at least out East. And there's a little bit of relationship there, history there. So those are always on a Sunday. Those are always fun to watch that 3-game series, especially in that division. Yeah. That's semi-pro.
Are you seeing a lot of movement upward from lower divisions up?
Like guys moving up for the Trash Pandas, for example. Yeah. And some of them, especially out East, because there are so many, they'll change their name or whatnot, but it is a different, it's the same core group of guys. And a lot of times, you get them on a minor team and you got 5-6 guys and you're like, these guys are playing minor. They should be playing semi-pro. But then you got another 5-6 guys in that team that are minor division guys, and they just keep them in a loop. They're buddies or whatever it may be, or they play in a rec league team together, and then the next year, those 5 or 6 core guys, like, you know what, we really want to compete this year. So they'll go and pick another 2 or 3 guys, and now they're playing semi-pro, and then, and that's happened we have our staples in the pro division, but that's happened in the pro division also, where you're only 2-3 guys away from being able to compete with the Sting, who's won it 5 of the last 6 years or 6 of the last 7 years or whatever it is. You might not beat them every time. And in a 7-game series, it may be difficult to beat them, but to beat them in a 3-game series in a semifinal out there or whatever, that could be done, So there's a lot of teams that are maybe only 2-3 guys away and they can move right up into that next level. So we're really as a league, trying to figure out, how do we do that? How do we get them to move up? And instead only having 5-6 teams out there and only 4 teams here, maybe we get to 6 or 8 out there and 5 or 6 here, to take that next step. So we're always looking at, how do we get better? Obviously that's what we look at first. How do we get better, and how do we make it better for our players and our organization, our owners? So.
Yeah. I dread anyone who's got to go up against like Max Halverson anyway. So
I hear you, man. I hear you.
So
I hear you.
But that team is, you go Max Halverson, PJ DiMartino, Mula, Pascali. That team is just that team's littered with talent.
KJ.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. I know.
And then you got Keith Johnson and Brandy in goal. Like, come on.
Doesn't exactly take a notch down, does it?
No, not at all. You got to come ready to play.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. But you know what? Those are all good roller hockey. I mean, I'm sure they all played ice hockey at one point, you know what I mean? But I consider them roller hockey people. They love the game. They'll travel wherever they need to. If some money comes out of their pocket, doesn't matter. They just love the game and want to go do it, you know, and Jay Muro's the same way. So as a league, yeah, was it okay that Demon Dogs won last year? Yeah. I mean, did the Sting only come out with 5, 6, 7 guys, I think, and they were gassed by game 6 and 7? You know, they didn't have a couple of those guys last year. I think Joey was playing overseas, so he wasn't here. You know, but so it was okay as a league for the Demon Dogs to win, and they deserved it. It was an amazing series. You know, but you can see that Coach Muro stacked up again this year, and he'd like a Founders Cup back, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean that few team put up a fight, and so you know if you're able to grind them down in the first couple games, and who knows what'll happen, right? So.
Yes, a goalie gets hot. Our games are only little 12-minute. I say little, or stop clock. There's still a 40-minute time slot or 45-minute time slot, but a little shorter. And we did that for a reason years ago, because you want to keep games close, right? A goalie could get hot, and even if your team's not quite as good as the Sting, your goalie gets hot, and maybe you could sneak one out, and then you're in a third game, and anything can happen, you know, or a 7th game or whatever, and anything can happen. So,
and the stop clock really, I mean, the goalie can't just cover it and waste time either. So you really, every second counts.
That's right. Yeah. We like that. We started with four 12s, and to make it along in 2002, thinking, okay, we're going to have people pay to get in. And this.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right.
We'll wait for it. He'll come back.
I think he'll come back. Yeah.
I'll run a read real quick. Actually, I want to ask you a question, Dan, while we're waiting for him. Something I want to ask him about is the different rinks out there in his division.
Yeah,
I want to know what they're all rocking on. It's a funny screen to stop on. He's lost for words. Here, hold on. I'm going to run this ad real quick.
Sounds good.
Every episode of No Offsides podcast is brought to you by Champion Hockey. Be a champion.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No worries.
No offside. Yeah, I was just talking about length of games. I think, you know, we shortened them down a little bit and made them mini games just to keep the competitiveness there, you know, to compete there and keep games in it. So, but yeah, you're right. You got to play every second.
So, Justin, while he was gone, you had a question you wanted to ask him.
Yeah, I was wondering, what are the rinks like in your guys' division? Who do you think has the best home rink?
Oh, we do, by far.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what? The guys here would probably tell you the same thing. I mean, like I said, did I lose you again?
No, you're good, right? Oh, yep.
It's the live experience.
Yeah, it happens.
We found you.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on. I apologize.
Don't worry.
No, you're good. No worries about it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you know, I think some of the other guys would tell you that same thing. We, you know, with the way we're set up, we have a bar upstairs. Not that that's all end all be all, but I don't know if you ever seen pictures of our facility, but we have a huge big screen on our one wall that we can, you know, put sponsors on and things of that nature. And then we just had 2 brand new scoreboards. They're all LED. Same thing as our big screen actually, but they're the scoreboards at the end too. We're very lucky with where we play for sure. And then Foothills Fieldhouse is a really nice facility. It's 2-rink facility, one's soccer, one's inline, used to be double inline. That's where the Fire play out of. That is a really nice facility. You know, it's a normal inline hockey facility, but a nice place. And then the Parker Fieldhouse actually is also, it's beautiful. I can tell you, like I said, I'm old, so it's 100 by 200 rink, so it's huge. The rink is
it's big.
Yeah, but it's full length glass down the whole one side, all the way
Nice.
down to the kick plate. They could put a bunch of people into that building if they wanted to. There's seating all along the one side. It's owned by the city, so it's got rock climbing in there. It's got his indoor soccer also that's full. So as a full, facility, that place is really nice. They just have other stuff going on. We are strictly inline hockey. We do other stuff, other disciplines at our place, but when Thunder's there, it's only us, so we can make it more of an event for something like this. I think we are set up, for a PIHA, like to have a PIHA Pro home game or even a semi-pro game or whatever. We're set up perfect for something like that. And I think the other guys would tell you that. I think the other owners, the other places, they love playing at their home rink. Obviously that's why whoever wins Saturday night's got to go to Parker, because they're like, well, we're not coming to you,
Yeah.
So we're first seed and you're coming to us, which I totally respect. But I don't think they mind coming down and playing at our place. That's for sure.
I mean, what are your rinks rocking on? Did you guys, any of them upgrade the still mat, or?
Yeah, so ours is still mat. We've had for 2 years now, 2.5 years. Really good. The Foothills Fieldhouse, they were talking about getting a new floor, but I don't think they have. So they're on an older sport court, but the floor is not bad. And Parker Fieldhouse is on, actually, I think they're on ice court, but like a little older ice court. But again, they're all we're very lucky out here. They're very nice. All three are very nice.
That's sweet, man. I mean, listen, if you can have 4 rinks within, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, like I said, and from our place, it's probably 50 minutes to Parker, and we're right here in the Rocky Mountains. I mean, it's not like we're not driving the New Jersey Turnpike. You know what I mean? Like it's beautiful where we get to drive to also. So we are very lucky here, and I like the way we do things where we have set game. You go and you play your game, and it's an hour and a half time slot, and then you drive home. You have legit away games, or you have legit home games, and I enjoy that, and we enjoy that out here.
Yeah, I mean, it's great too to see that there's still a decent amount of rinks in other places, especially with the amount that are still closing down.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. And when I first moved out here in Fort Collins, we had a team up there for about 5-6 years. They had a 2-rink facility. They hosted, the first year I moved here, 2005, they hosted college nationals. So there were all kinds of teams here too. Yeah, in Fort Collins, and now that's totally gone. There's no rinks at all up there. There was another rink in Denver, 2 other rinks in Denver. One was a 2-sheet facility, but then went to 1 soccer, 1 inline, and now is just strictly soccer. So we've lost our fair share here. But we have our 3, and there's another one in Greeley owned by the city that they do everything on. It's sport court, but they do volleyball. They do, you do whatever you do to make it work, right? So which totally respect. So we're still lucky we got here. We got a good base of hockey players. They've grown up doing it all their lives, and a lot of them still playing at a pretty high level. So
yeah, that's great to hear, because you look at it and most people would just rather just sell off everything and be like, oh, we're moving on. So and it's great to see, because especially with what PIHA does is it keeps rinks busy.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, everybody's looking to put. They want. You can't go into a business plan for a hockey facility and be like, well, we're only going to be open on a Saturday from 4 to 9. You know what I mean, or whatever. Like, you got to fill space for sure. Yeah. That's one thing about where I'm at personally. I'm working kind of for Skate City Sports, what it's called, and our owner owns 6 roller skating rinks, but each of one of them have their own hockey club, and they practice at that rink, but then they all come together and play at our facility at the arena. Because it's only an hour drive for 4 of them, and then it's only a 20-minute drive for the other 2. So we have tournaments at our place, youth tournaments at our place every weekend, depending on what age group it is. And it's all like infrastructure because of the owner of the place having his own little roller skating rinks also, but still, willing to support inline hockey. And then that obviously supports the arena
Yeah.
and just the growth of sport helps PIHA, obviously, just the growth of the sport here in Colorado. So we are pretty lucky. We're pretty lucky all the way up and down, you know, from my little guy at 8 years old has a place to play, you know.
That's what's important.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we'll keep building. We'll keep getting better.
Now, one of the things I want to talk about here is I like how you bring in end of season awards.
Uh-huh.
And so, I mean, what goes into consideration for a lot of these awards for, I think they're, you know, like defenseman of the year and stuff like that. And you bring in people from multiple divisions that go up against it. So how do you choose the nominees, and how do you choose who wins the awards?
I mean, we do the best we can. You know, we have a committee, a league committee that we just come together and we throw some names out there and we kind of trust one another. It's hard for somebody like Anthony Flynn, who is our East Coast coordinator, to say, well, CJ, you know, obviously you can see Derek Burnett played only 14 games and has 24 points or whatever. And we know he's not a bad hockey player, but you know, is there other people that we should be nominating or whatever? So I kind of throw that out there, or Joe Aria, who helps me out here, we'll throw a couple names in the mix. And then the same thing, you know, with the Dixie division or the Eastern, and in the Eastern division, we have Anthony Flynn and Dennis Jelsic who kind of help. You know, we'll make a phone call to some of the guys that have been, I mean, we don't mind making a phone call to a Jay Muro, who obviously we know knows the game and has played against guys. And he's honest enough to be like, you know, it doesn't have to be my guy every time. Like, this kid just came out of the woodwork. I don't even know where he came. He moved here from Ohio, but he's really good defensively. So then that's a guy, okay, well, we'll put him on there, you know, and then our committee gets together and we kind of decide on who wins going into each season. And we're not saying it's obviously not perfect, you know, but we just do the best we can. You want to recognize as many people as you can. You know, I'm passionate about the Organization of the Year award just because, and we've won it a good bit, but it's because we try to do all those little things, because ultimately this came about to try and keep youth kids in our sport. So we try to make sure it looks good, you know, for them and do it. Prevent my guys dressed in shirts and ties coming in and out of the building everywhere we go. You know what I mean? We have a little player's entrance on the side right by our locker room, so that we don't just come in the front door with our bags on our backs and our sticks, you know, just little stuff like that. But there's been plenty of organizations, trust me, that try to do the best they can. We just are lucky with our facility and whatnot. But all of that, like, you know, we have an unsung hero award just for somebody that has put their time in and maybe nobody knows them. They're in the background, but they did so much for the league that year. Like, we take pride in that stuff, and we do try to distribute to different, you know, divisions and whatnot. And we don't want to just all go the East Coast or whatever. But again, it's not set in stone. It can always be better. But that's kind of how we kind of bring things in from everybody and then see what works.
And all the winners win a week's trip paid by PIHA to Cancun, right?
Oh yeah, no problem. when I get that, then they'll get it. Okay, but until then, they get their name on a plaque. Come on, what else?
I mean, listen, that's great though. I mean, I love it. You know, I love recognizing, you know, because you can go there, you can play, and then, you know, you can do your thing, and just to be recognized, I think, even as a nominee is awesome. And that's why that's why I wanted to bring it up, because it's just something that I feel like even tournaments themselves can do more of, is stuff like that. And sometimes it depends on the year. It's like, you know, top scorer, you know, best goalie, MVP, right? And so just stuff like that just goes a long way, because you're recognizing people for participating.
100%. And it doesn't need to be the top end guys all the time.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it can be some kid from Ohio that came out of the war, and Jay Muro's look like, that is a really good kid. He does things the right way, doesn't go in a penalty box all the time, blocks shots like nobody's business. So you wouldn't really look at the stats and know who the guy is, but Jay Muro understands. I say Jay just because we're good friends.
Yeah.
Dennis Jelsic, you know, whoever, Anthony Merrigan, you know, like, this is a good kid, and he does it the right way, and he loves it, and he's passionate about the league. And so, yeah, we want to try to recognize those people. So I appreciate that. I had one of our minor guys played last year, and they're getting beat up. They're not very good, but he loves the game. He's at every practice that we run, and he sent me a text message like, you know what I mean, just thanking me, and it's special. That was personal, obviously, but I'm like, it wasn't just me, Jamie. I didn't do it, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And
is
so
that how you guys are? Oh,
no, go ahead, Justin, go.
I was gonna say, is that how you guys are running practices? You get the semi-pro and the minor team together?
Well, we actually have a pro, 2 semi-pro, and 2 minor, all under our Thunder organization. So our 2 minor teams practice together, and then our pro and 2 semi-pro practice together. And there's obviously, you guys know, there's always guys missing, and I'm a big believer in, it's hard to run a practice with 8, 9 guys. Like, I want to have 15, 20 guys out there, and let's go up and down the rink. We're there for an hour. Let's get a good skate in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how we do it. We normally do them on Friday nights. And we get a good crowd, and our 2 semi-pro teams are better than they've ever been. So it really pushes our pro more this year. And that's helped us a ton as a pro team, that we have those guys that are pushing us. And we've had numerous guys be called up out of the semi-pro into the pro with a couple guys missing or whatever. And we have that ability to do that because our talent it's just better this year for us personally. And I think as a division, us also. So, but yeah, we have our 2 minors practice, and then our 2 semi-pro and pro practice together.
Do you ever have the minor team play against the semi team just to kind of give them a taste of what the next level is?
So what we do, we actually, every now and then, instead of running, I mean, we're all adults, right? And we all love the game, and we want to get better, but it's okay sometimes just to have a good time too. That's really why we're here. So like every 3rd week, instead of running a practice, we call it a PDL, a PIHA Developmental League. And it's just basically a big scrimmage. We play little games to 3, but we keep track of plus minus. So if you're out there, you go by and you're like, oh, green number 9 minus, 11 green minus. And then we keep track of that, and we keep a list, and we're all together with that, pro, semi-pro, and minor. So that gets those guys out there. Get some of us old pro guys out there with some 16, 17-year-old kids that you can tap them on the shin guards and just be like, hey, when I do this, try and get to the net there, or you lost your man here, just stay on a D side, just to give them a little pointers, if they want it. If they're like, dude, I'm just here to have a good time tonight.
Yeah.
I'm a -8. I'm trying to get a plus, if you don't mind, but it's fun. We'll turn the music on and, in the background a little bit, but we still try to, it's a little compete. We play games to 3. If you lose, we keep track of that. And then we also keep track of the plus minus. So guys are doing both ends of the rink. So, so you got to compete.
And
That's
so,
awesome.
yeah. And I'm curious on, I'm going to go back to the awards. But like when do these get announced?
So Anthony Flynn will announce them. He likes to do that. He kind of heads all of that. He does that. I think Friday night we're doing most of those before the pro. So we'll do announcements, and that should be live where you can see who it will be. It's hard because obviously not everybody's going to be at the finals, but we try to give the people that are going to win something that might be able to be at the finals a heads up that, hey, you're going to win something. If you can be there Friday a little early before the pro game, we'd like to call you out onto the floor and shake hand, get a picture taken and whatnot. So, but I think we have an awards ceremony on Friday for about 45 minutes before the pro game.
Okay. That's pretty neat. And I'm looking at some of these names here. I mean, looking at pro, you got PJ, Ryan Marker, Jake Townsend, goalies, Steve Brandy, John Joy, Joel Eisenhower, right? And then you got, Jordan Mula, No Let's Go, Wes Shea. I mean, you get these names. You even have in the semi-pro, you got Mike Tardino, you have Chris Marcillo, who's been on the scene a little while now too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got some names up there. I mean, it's great. I mean, you take these people's pictures, and some of them are pretty goofy.
Yeah.
But
they're there.
Yeah, exactly. You have a whole page dedicated to these people.
Yeah.
And then if they don't take a headshot, it looks like if you're able to get an action shot of them, they put that in there too. So no, it's awesome. I love it.
Anthony Flynn does a lot of that. He's actually been really, he's been since inception with us, and except for a couple years, but he's been really, really good. And he is really good at stuff like that. Also, he gets on me all the time. CJ, I need a headshot of this guy. What are you doing? You know, because it's not on the website. I need it. So he'll call me out every now and then.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think it just brings a little more to the league, right? It's just something different than just a regular rec league. And you get to see where your stats are compared to somebody in Long Island or in the Dixie division. You know, I know our minor guys love that they can kind of, where am I at? You know, even if I'm not a top 25, who cares? Just where am I at amongst all these guys playing all over the country? So it's just a little something. Yeah, it's a little more, you know, a little more than just a regular beer league, you know, rec league.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and just I lost my page here.
That would be heaven for Dan. Dan's a total stat guy, so
so like, you know, it's great to get my own stats and everything like that, but like I am all for, like, you know, we pull these guys on for the podcast, and I'm like, I got to run their stats real quick. Like, let me grab some of their stats from, you know, Tours, Narch.
Yeah, let me hockey DB this guy real quick. Right?
Yeah, and depending on their age, depends on whether they have a hockey DB or not.
Yeah.
And you know, and I look up and I'm like, oh, they had a stint in the SPHL and stuff like. I'm like, oh heck yeah, like let's talk about this.
For sure. No, I get it. I was caught in a rabbit hole last night at our rink. We had a little skate last night, and then I found a program from Richmond, actually. Richmond Renegades. My brother played in East Coast Hockey League there. And I'm looking at all these names of guys that went through there and that I played roller hockey against and a little bit of ice hockey against. And one of the guys that played there now helps coach my son in ice hockey here. And it's just, I just went down a little rabbit hole like that just last night. So pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if I found this stats page a little sooner, I mean, I would have went down a rabbit hole for a while. But, you know, one name that's littered all over the stats page is Jake Townsend, right? I mean,
he's good.
When you average almost 3 points a game, you're looking at 57 total points in the season. I mean, that's some impressive stuff right there too.
He can play with anybody in the country for sure. He showed it last year. Like I said, he won playoff MVP last year.
Nice.
And you know, I think he scored the game winner in Game 7. And honestly, he's a really good dude. He goes out, he plays the game, doesn't say anything, rarely takes penalties. He just goes and skates around me. That's basically what he does. But no, he's really, really good guy. And like I said, he can play with anybody in the country.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him play at USRC with the Blood and Feathers, and you know, the speed was there for that entire team, right? And so, you know, you can't teach someone to be that fast.
Right. No, he just gets up and goes when he wants to, you know, and it's like his first 3 strides are just better than most guys, you know, so then all of a sudden like, boom, he's gone, you know, type of thing. It doesn't even happen. And those are the 3 biggest ones, right? If you can get a top speed in 3 strides, you know, you're going to beat a lot of guys down the rink. So,
yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I consider myself having 3 decent strides, but it's a matter of how long does the legs work for?
Yeah, I hear you. I got 1 good stride at this point, but that's all right. I still love it. So.
But yeah, I mean, it's just great to talk PIHA because, you know, it's a unique league that, you know, it's just all year round.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing else like it.
Right.
You know, you have you know, sprinkled in tournaments, you have some qualifiers that, you know, you have tournament season, right?
Right.
Which obviously it seems like y'all try and kind of finish up right before those start up. But it's nice that there is something out there for people, as we've already kind of talked about. And I can't wait to see what the future brings because, you know, I feel like roller hockey's back on the up.
I agree.
I agree too. I agree 100%.
You know, and so I just can't wait to see, you know, because I still think there's people out there that don't even know what PIHA is.
Mm-hmm.
And which is kind of crazy to me because, you know, but then again, like I said, you're expanding now, which will bring more eyes onto the scene, and people are like, oh, I want to do that, right?
Yeah,
and then
exactly,
and then you create more hubs in certain different areas, and then it's just gonna blow up.
Right. I agree. We need to be better. We need to be better at that, and we do talk about that every year. And we're having league meetings the Thursday night before the finals because there'll be a bunch of guys and talk about some possible rule changes. You heard it here first, but possibly maybe expanding to 24 games instead of just 20 and going a little later. So it's even more of a season. You know, a lot of people want that. The people that play in it love it. You know, so, you know, and that would give us, if we expanded a couple months out, we could even schedule it. It's not that big a deal out for us out here because we can always make it work. But in the East Coast with college and things of that nature, they got a lot they've got to schedule around. So, you know, so we're going to talk through all that and then come out with some of those ideas later. But yeah, and it just helps. You're right. You get somebody that was in St. Louis, you know, playing college hockey and gets a taste of PIHA and then moves back to Denton, Texas, and there's a rink there. And he's like, well, how do we get PIHA coming here? You know what I mean? Like, let's do that, you know? So we need to be better at how do we get more people in the loop, and it helps with you guys just even having me on. So I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And you know, we'll keep getting better and keep moving forward.
I mean, I have one final question for you, and that's, you know, there's been a lot of talk, especially since professional women's ice hockey, and that's with the jailbreak rule. Is that something you think you'd be discussing at your meeting?
About having women's?
No, not having women's, but like have the jailbreak rule of like being shorthanded and scoring a goal and getting your guy out of the box.
Oh, got it. You know, I haven't even witnessed it. I haven't even looked at it, but we've talked about that. We have talked about that. My dad's thrown so much stuff out. It's amazing. He wants to change the point system. You know, if you score the last goal of the game, you get an extra point so that even if you're down 3, you're still trying to play. You know what I mean? You can get a point. He's come up with, I mean, he's got a whole system, but I did hear about that, and I do, you know, and we have talked about it. There was another point system that they're doing in Europe that we kind of looked at. You know, we always talk about how do we make the game a little faster, although this new group, I don't think they weren't taught like I was taught, where it is all about, I mean, it's about possession, right? We want to have the puck, but we were like, if you don't have a clear cut 2-on-1, you turn it back and you slow things down. That doesn't happen quite as much now. I think we go up and down the rink a little bit more. You know, the guys are just so good. Joey DiMartino and Max Halverson don't want to sit behind their net so they get a clear cut 2-on-1. Like, they want to go, you know, and they should. Jake Townsend, same thing. You know, they should want to go, you know. So, but we talked about like an over and back rule, and we talk, you know, it always comes up about a shot clock. I'm not a big fan of that. Neither is my father, but you know, shorten the zones up a little bit, that, you know, there's a little more contact. You're running into each other a little bit more because, you know, kind of like ice hockey, you're inside the blue line, and obviously there's 10 guys inside the blue line. You're going to run into each other a little bit more, maybe, you know. So we've talked about a lot of that, but I do like that. I do like that rule, and it's just been brought up. So maybe something I'll bring it up, Dan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, it's just, you know, things that have just kind of been more in the spotlight lately for just hockey in general is like, you know, I mean, now I'm just spitballing here, but like more like, what's your thought about potentially banning the Michigan?
Well, if it was up to me, I'd be okay with it. I want to whack somebody every time they try to do it. But
well, you're old. I mean, not talking about, but like, you're kind of an old school player, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm kind of in that in between where I'm like, if you try and pull a Michigan on my team, on my goalie, I'm probably laying you out.
100%. I'm three-handing you in the chest. Yeah, you know what I mean? Well, for sure. You know. Yeah, and I'm old. I'll give it to you. I am, for sure. So. Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked about that. I guess if other leagues are going to start to do it, but is it unsafe? No. Is it, you know, does it bring something for the fans? Do they love it? Yeah. So we need to look at that too. If the fans love it, then why get rid of it? If it's unsafe, then you probably have to talk about it. And it's probably unsafe for the guy doing it. You know what I mean? But it's not. You know, because somebody is going to go after him. Or I know our goalie talks about it all the time. You know, if somebody tried this on me, might bring my stick. I'm like, all right, Keith, calm down. You know, but we that hasn't been discussed now, and the fans like it. So I've got to like turn the page a little bit and be like, you know what, maybe it's good for the game. You know, and that's why we're here for the kids. You know, we're here for the players. but we're here to make the game better too, and more fun. So that's why my father enjoys that it is our league, and we can kind of change some rules up or try some rules if we want to. Like this point system. We might put some new point system, even if it's just for the minor division, just to try it and see, kind of like the American Hockey League or the East Coast Hockey League tries something and they move it up. So, we think our overtime is great, where we go 3-on-3 for 4 minutes and then 2-on-2 for 3 minutes. Okay. And it goes down from there. We used to have 1-on-1 for 2 minutes. Then after that, like Jake Townsend versus, PJ DiMartino or whatever would be kind of cool to watch.
Wow.
Yeah.
But kind of worked out that whoever won the faceoff went behind their own net and stood there for a minute and a half. And then, they didn't go up and down the rink like we thought they might. So we don't do, now we go right to a sudden death shootout. But we like our overtime where we go 3-on-3, and like to my dad, he's like, NHL stole it from us. We've been doing that for 15 years. And now all of a sudden they're playing 3-on-3 in overtime. I'm sure they have no idea who CJ and Charlie Yoder are. You know what I mean? But we have.
I think they do.
We've been doing it for 20 years. I mean, we started with that role, so as our overtime, and then down to 2-on-2, which is still pretty fun to watch. And it's funny how you kind of watch, and it's fun to watch the NHL when they like come outside the blue line, just because it is all about possession and 3-on-3. And it's fun to watch some strictly forward that has never played defense in his life in ice hockey try to cover a man 1-on-1. He's like, what am I doing here? I can't do that. And they're the best in the world, so that's kind of cool too. But you have any more ideas? My father would be all over it, and we could talk about it. But that one, jailbreak rule for sure could be addressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely neat, and especially you talked about just kind of like the NHL, right? And you're kind of seeing roller hockey bleed into the NHL a lot. Yeah. Just the possession game, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it's the dump and chase is, I think, is probably, I don't think it will ever go away in ice hockey because you want to bang bodies, but I think at the same time there's times now where I'm so in the roller hockey, I'm like the dump and change.
Yeah.
I think that will be eliminated eventually from the NHL, because it's like, why would I dump it and get rid of the possession? Right. When the first guy off the bench, I could just throw it to him and he could take it back.
That's right. 100%. And I'll tell you, I help coach a little AAA ice hockey here. And, there's a time and play. I don't call it dump and change. We chip it and put it to an area to win a race. Yeah. Like, so, you don't want to give a puck up at the blue line. So you chip it around them, but now you get your guy to win a race to that puck. We're not just dumping it and going to hit somebody, I agree 100%. It is, the game's changing, and USA Hockey's doing the best they can with some of their rule changes, or what they think is to try and keep the puck in people's sticks, like automatic icing. So instead of, even on a PK, so instead of doing this, you're trying to make a play instead of just icing the puck. I understand what they're trying to do, but it's about developing players, making the game more fun. It's more fun to try and make a play than it is to chip a puck into the corner and go have to hit somebody, So I agree. I think it is heading a little bit more, and the players are just so good also.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
To have the puck on their stick, it's probably okay to do that.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that the fourth line's been phased out, it's kind of more of a skillful kind of bang the bodies kind of thing, but you can still rely on your fourth line to start a game now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. 100%. Like, they're there if needed, but no, 100%.
I mean, Justin, I'm not sure. Do you have a rapid fire for CJ, or?
I got a couple quick questions. Don't think about them too much, okay?
Okay, go ahead. I don't like the pressure.
This one's a very personal one. You play up at one of the highest elevations in the country all the time. When you go down and play at sea level, do you feel like a Superman a little bit?
No, too old to feel that way at this point. But I can tell you when I was doing Team USA and the tryouts were here, I knew on Friday, I'm like, I got to play really well Friday because everybody's going to be hurting that night. And then maybe they don't even look at me. Well, CJ's on, he's still okay, and they didn't have to worry about me Saturday, Sunday when everybody else could still breathe.
Very cool. How would you describe the physicality in the pro PIHA?
They definitely let us rub out a little bit more, which I like. It's different than like a regular rec league. It's probably the same as like a Narch and an archer, a tour swear, anything along the wall, unless you absolutely run somebody or not even trying for the puck, they're going to let it go. And we kind of play the same way.
Yeah.
Very good. What do you think the most important personality trait for a hockey player is?
Personality trait. I'm a big attitude and effort guy. And body language. That's being a good teammate. That all kind of rolls together. If your attitude's good, normally your body language is good, and you're a good teammate. So I'm a big positive. I'm going over a bunch here. Sorry. I'm a big positive guy, and I'm a huge, huge body language, attitude, and effort.
I love that. What do you think Roller as a whole, the whole community, needs to do to continue this upward progress we're seeing?
First thing would be support each other. Like whether that's scheduling, whether that's all coming together under one umbrella, RHA or whatever, but the major thing would be support each other. We're too small to be fighting against each other for certain players or whatever it may be. So let's just support each other, keep building, be there for the players, and we'll keep building.
Heck yeah. That's all I got for you, man. I think that's a great place to end.
I mean, you forgot your final question.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Last question.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Oh, shoot.
Did you have fun?
I did.
Cool,
Thank
man.
you. I say that to my kid every time we get in the car after playing. I love it.
Heck yeah. Man, we appreciate you being here. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Anytime. And if ever I can help do anything for you guys, you let me know.
Will do. If you're watching, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. Follow PIHA because PIHA, they got stuff going on all the time in non-tournament season. So if you want to look at stats, you want to look at what's going on, you want to look at who's playing, follow their website at thepiha.hockeyshift.com, or it might even be just thepiha.com, right?
Thepiha.com will take you right to it.
Yeah, thepiha.com. And just remember, if you're forechecking in roller hockey, don't let up because there's no offsides. I'm Dan Dean.
I'm Justin Wood.
And CJ, thanks for coming.
Thanks, you guys. We appreciate it.
Yep, thanks,
man.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
No offside.